Hi students, and welcome to week 10 in your online general psychology course. I hope you had a great spring break, and I hope you had a great first week back from spring break. And I also want to point out before I really get into this week's assignments here is that I left the due date Sunday, March 31st, so that you had the entire time to get your chapter 8 assignments done. But I do want to point out March 31st is Easter. So if that is a holiday that you observe and celebrate and acknowledge, just plan accordingly. Of course, you can always get the work turned in anytime during the week. But I feel guilty having it still due on March 31st. Just remember you can turn that in early. I don't want to ruin your Easter if that is in fact a holiday that you observe. So just wanted to point that out before I talk about this week. I also want to make sure that you are aware that your midterm exam, now that we have finished chapters 1 through 7, is due on Wednesday, March 27th. That's a little unusual for me to have something due in the middle of the week there. Again, always can turn it in early. And get ready, complete that midterm whenever you feel ready. I would just say make sure that you've taken the Chapter 7 quiz first because that material will be covered. So it's not, the midterm doesn't cover any new material. These are chapters that you have already completed. How I break the semester up is that your midterm is over the first 7 chapters. And then this week, week 10, we'll start chapter 8. And from chapter 8 until the end of the semester, and then you'll have the final exam. So your final exam will only cover chapters 8 on. So this will kind of close out those first 7 chapters for you with this midterm exam. Don't panic. They're important, obviously, your midterm and your final exam. But I don't weight them in terms of your course grade very heavily. So it's important to complete them. It's important to do well on them, and you will. But don't let your test anxiety take over and think, oh, you're going to blow the class if you mess up, or don't do extremely well on the midterm. Again, you can always look at the syllabus and see how they're weighted and so forth. But just go in and do your very best. You're very familiar. So instead of it being like, a quiz over one chapter of what you have done this entire semester thus far, it will just be a review of those first 7 chapters altogether. So it is, questions that you're familiar with the process before, of how they look, of how you do them, of how you complete them, of how Connect works. You're very familiar with all of that. The only thing is the length of it. So just plan accordingly to block out enough time to have this completed by Wednesday, March 27th, because it is 100 questions. So you can go back. I'm going to show you real quick. Actually, I'm going to tell you because mine's set up a little different than the student version. And then I also have to be careful and not show you everybody's grades, which is what will happen if I open up Connect right now. But if you go to McGraw-Hill Connect, go to your course, and then you'll see that once you're inside the course, it'll have the chapters listed out, and you can click on them and you can go back and review the quizzes that you've taken. So if you just click on them through the modules, which is always how I want you to complete assignments, it will say you've already taken it and it won't let you review it. So for reviewing only, you'll need to go over to McGraw-Hill Connect and go in that way. Okay, so use that as a way to review before you get ready for that midterm exam. But you're going to do great on it. You've been doing great on these quizzes. So have that confidence, have that knowledge, do what you've been doing to complete these quizzes. Because again, you've been doing very well on them. So take that energy and put it into the midterm. Okay, so that is due Wednesday, March 27th, kind of right here in between week 9 and week 10. But this week, we are in week 10, and we will be covering chapter 8, which is over thinking, intelligence, and language. So in this week's module, you will have 2 Connect assignments. one over problem solving, and one over Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. So Gardner proposed this theory that we have 7 different types of intelligences and that they all need to be tested and assessed in order to really check somebody's intelligence quotient, their IQ, if you will. So in your reading this week, you'll learn about those 7 different intelligences that Gardner proposed, and this assignment will check you on your understanding of that. And then your Chapter 8 quiz. No writing assignment, no discussion question, because you have the midterm on top of your Connect and your chapter quiz. So let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget, it is Easter on March 31st, so get this work completed early if you have Easter plans and don't want your assignments to get in the way of that. And let me know if you have any questions. And we are truly now starting that second part of the semester, which will fly by. So have a great week, have a great weekend, and I'll be back next week to talk about chapter 10. Just FYI, now we're going to skip some chapters. We won't go chronologically through the chapters. We will, but like we're going to do 8 this week, and next week we're moving on to 10. I'm taking chapter 9 out. You won't be doing anything for chapter 9. So just a little heads up there. Take care, everybody.